Welcome to The Real Recipe, the podcast that brings you the perfect blend of real estate trends and topics, where we serve up fresh insights and sizzling strategies. So let's get cooking.
Ooh, baby. And we're back. Yeah. This is a good one. I love talking about this stuff.
Ryan loves gossip.
I love gossip. I do love gossip. You know, yes and no. There are some days where I'm in the mood for it, and there's some days where I'm not in the mood for it.
Really?
Today's a good day.
It's Friday. Ryan's going away soon. He's like, I could do a little. You're not going to get caught up on gossip until you get back from vacation, so you need your fill now. Pretty much.
Probably. Yeah. I'm gonna be knee deep in dumb stuff for 10 days. So yeah. But yeah, this was, you know, we were talking before about just kind of the state of the business and the state of yes, this is a very cathartic conversation. Let me just get it out there.
So I think that anyone who's been in the business for a decent amount of time can understand the sentiment that some people that have gotten in the business the past few years and just the landscape of the business in general has changed so much that the integrity of the business has also changed. I don't mean like service issues or things pop up here and there. I just mean the compliance aspect of it.
Yep.
Like I said before, people trying to fly so far under the radar that they just literally crash and burn. And I hate losing out to people who are going to be like that. And sometimes it is frustrating because the things that go on in this business are so blatantly outside the lines. Like, you are operating without a license. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't imagine if I asked any consumer, would you list your house with a realtor who is completely unlicensed? They would be like, why would I do that? Would you put your money with a financial advisor who wasn't licensed to do that? They'd be like, no,
right.
Why would I do that? But the general consumer might not even understand that somebody isn't licensed. And being in this business where we have such a compliance aspect to many things, because we are a title and escrow agency, certain things need to be done properly. Certain things need to be disclosed a certain way. And it's obvious to me when I can look up and see that someone isn't licensed or that someone's disclosing something illegally, that it's like they just don't care, or they really feel like they're going to get away with it. And eventually that's not going to be the case anymore.
You know what I wish right now, because I have, you know, some similar, this is such an interesting topic too, because it's just, you on one hand, you feel bad about having the conversation publicly, but it also needs to exist too, because it's not, some of the regulators and some of the people in who would supervise or oversee some of our industry, I personally believe are doing a horrendously bad job at policing what's actually happening out at the street level. It's one thing when you do audits at big companies or you do audits at the company level. Yeah, that's fine. And if the company is smart and has done their job properly, it's going to look to an auditor to be correct. But out on the street, you don't know what's happening out on the street level, and you don't know what's happening, and you start to see some of these things where,
you see it if you're us out there, you see it.
Right. Oh, it's in somebody else's name. Oh, don't worry about that. That's fine. That's our company. That's how we send them out. And then your consumers are like, oh, okay, and they're giving you a better interest rate, and then you're like, oh, okay, whatever. He's giving me this interest rate. That's fine. And you think you're none the wiser for it. And you're just like, oh, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the reality is, behind the scenes, something's going on there that isn't on the up and up, or isn't happening correctly, or you're not talking to a person who you think you're talking to, And in your world, same thing too. You think you're doing something with somebody who's able to be doing what they're doing, and they're not. And I don't know. It's leaving for us in the business, and what's unfortunate is it's only us in the business that really see it, and it leaves a bad stain on the industry as a whole, and it really puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
Right.
But it's also it's not really our job to be policing the business either. What are you going to do?
I would never be like, hi, Department of Banking and Insurance. Like,
right.
Oh, this person.
But there's some days I feel like it.
Yeah,
right?
Okay, I'll use my example here without naming any names. So I think that the problem is like the general knowledge of how like the actual consequences of working with somebody who isn't licensed or doing something like I'm about to tell you, the general consumer doesn't understand how that impacts them.
No, and they never really do.
And a lot of realtors don't, many realtors aren't like, oh, let me just make sure my mortgage or my title person or my attorney's like on the up and up with the state bar association, or like they're actually licensed to do business in the state of New Jersey. They're not checking those things. But when you refer those people and there is a problem and you find out later down the line that they're not licensed, like it's not like, oh, we'll just go after the title company for money. Like everybody gets sued. So the example I'm giving here, again, without naming names, I have a good client of ours who reached out. We were already conducting business on this transaction, and the investor wanted to work with somebody different at a different title company that they were making a connection with, and the attorney was very uncomfortable working with that title company. And, I appreciate their partnership with us because we have a good service partnership with them. They feel like they can come to us and they feel like the job gets done, and they are a champion to try and work with us, and we appreciate that. And they expressed their distaste for wanting to work with that other title company to the client. The client was like, well, I'm in business with them. So they had sent over an...
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Time out. Right there. Time out. That's the biggest single problem right now in our business is everybody's in bed with everybody.
Yeah.
Paying for something, funding something, connected somehow that
you're just
is
going
not
into
on
business,
the up and up.
Yeah, so you're just going into the business with somebody for the wrong reason. And we say this all the time. Like if you're, yes, I understand like doing business a certain way, but if you're getting into a business relationship with somebody, like a vendor, specifically based on the fact that they're giving you money or it's based on money, your relationship will only ever be based on money, and you will only be as good as the person who doesn't pay as much as you, because somewhere down the line, someone's going to pay a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
And people are taking money even though their vendor's service absolutely sucks, and they don't care because they're getting paid, and it's at a detriment to their clients. So in this scenario, the client, I guess, had gotten an estimate from the title company, and they pretty much flat out said to them like, oh, we're going to waive this or that. There was a couple fees on there that they had waived, that they were going to waive, which it's completely non-compliant in New Jersey to invoice in that manner. So, they wanted to know if we could beat that quote, and I sent them our estimate, standard compliant New Jersey estimate. And in my email, and I've had to do this twice in the past couple of years, wrote my email. I understand, like, we're very cognizant of costs for buyers. I understand it's an expensive process, but we are so heavily regulated from a title perspective in New Jersey that there's going to be such little wiggle room for costs. You're competing on service for the most part. You're competing on a relationship in the title business in New Jersey. And what they're providing to you is a non-compliant quote. So why I can understand that you'd like us to kind of lower our price, that this is the best we can do because it is a compliant quote. And I would encourage you to reach out to that title company's underwriter and get a guarantee that they will insure you if you have a claim based on how they invoiced you. Because if the underwriter finds out that you were invoiced and you pay that bill, which is not compliant, they're going to drop you as a client. So you have a title company who's pushing this, like, oh, we'll waive this, not understanding the fact that I know the salesperson probably isn't even licensed and probably doesn't understand the fact that if there is a claim, the underwriter will not only drop the title company as a client, but they will, as an agency, but they will drop the client and not provide coverage for the claim. So you're essentially paying for insurance for nothing. So I expressed to them, like, I'm sorry, this is the best we can do, but I want to be honest with you. I would encourage you to reach out to the underwriter because this is an actual risk that's associated with this. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, don't take my word for it. Call them and find out.
I'd rather just be honest and lose out because we're $300 more expensive because I provided you with an actual legal legitimate quote. And, this morning I got an email back from the client and they were pretty much saying, thank you for forwarding that. Like, we appreciate your honesty and we'd like to move forward doing business with you. Yeah. And I was just like, I needed that win today because I can't stand, I really can't stand someone like that winning over me being honest about something. And like getting away with that,
Yeah.
because the only person who's going to suffer is the client, actually.
Right, and that's so there's three. It's probably more than three, but I think that there's three things to take away from that.
Yeah.
Number one, the consumer is going to suffer in it,
Right.
But by the same token, the consumer
Really no.
isn't really going to understand it, or really doesn't know all the ramifications there. And even when you do try to explain it to them,
Yeah.
their eyes gloss over because it's title, and they're like, "Oh,
This is so boring,
yeah,
you know?
like why? What is all that?"
Right.
But I think, to your point, I think the bigger issue right now is just the developing. If you're going to develop a relationship with somebody based on money, it never works out. Period. End of story. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. Not one relationship that I've ever started on money has ever been successful or has ever lasted in a meaningful way.
Right.
Ever. So the idea that it's going to work out for you, it's not worth. You'd rather have somebody, like you said, just be honest with me. Tell me what's up. Tell me what's going on. I've had those same situations like you. Like you win, my rate's higher. Here's why my rate's higher. This is what I'm doing for you.
Yeah.
And I think most people can sniff out the value in that conversation, right?
I would just say, to add, when it's based on money, but it's in a regulated service-based industry.
Right.
This isn't like,
Right, that's
something
right.
where
This
people
is regulated,
can just,
by the way. You can't just go and pay money to people.
You can't just go and do like whatever you want to do. And, I wrote that email, and listen, I could say everything I want about this company, and that's one thing, but I would never say that to a client.
Mm-hmm.
I was very honest without talking, shit about the other company. I was just like, here's why this is not compliant. I'm just can provide you with, all I can do is provide you with an honest quote, and here's why it's an honest quote. And at the end of the day, it is frustrating for people who work in this industry to see things like that happen. But, and I know realtors feel it when there's other realtors who are getting the same commission percentage they are, but they are doing things that are so shady and non-compliant and just dishonest. Like, that's very frustrating for people all across walks of life in this business.
The same for me in my business.
Yes.
And the same for you in your business.
All you can do, I think, at the end of the day, is just keep your head down and stay in your lane. And if you really are genuinely doing the right thing, and you are in this business because you do want to help people and you want to do a good job and you are honest, that in the end of the day, you will win for that, because you do have good intentions. Things happen. There's service issues here
Karma.
and there. I'm not talking about that where people drop the ball, but if you can own it.
Good vibes only here.
Good vibes only.
Good vibes.
And you're honest. Like,
good vibes only.
I had a meeting yesterday with someone, and I just, with a realtor, and I was saying to her, and I really meant it. I'm like, the people who I work with now in this business that I've continued to have long-standing relationships with, like, they are really, they are like true partners of mine.
Yes.
Like, and I've made really good, like, it's not even work anymore. It's like, we're friends.
Right.
And I love that, because I don't need to work with 500 different people because I'm giving them this and that, and maybe I'll get a deal from them, and then I'm bent out of shape when I don't get enough in return, and vice versa. Like, I just trust them and they trust me. And if there is a problem, like, I really want them to be able to come to me and tell me, like, this is wrong. Like, be honest. Like, I'm a big girl. You can tell me. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Right.
But the worst thing that could happen is there is a problem and someone stops working with us or stops working with me, and I don't know why. Like, I'd rather just really know. Even if we did screw up, I just want to know.
Yeah. I find it's just such it's a tough topic to have a conversation about, but it really is just unfortunate, and it's becoming more evident right now because of the lack of business and the like we were
and the desperateness.
People are getting desperate. They're not surviving. They don't have production coming through the door. Or they don't have sales on the board, or whatever. But then I also have conversations with people too that are having some of their best years.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what are you doing different that person's not doing? And that's the person, by the way, that they're not asking me to pay for anything, or not anything that I haven't suggested or we talked about that would be a good joint effort. It's when you talk to all the people that are suffering, they're the ones that are they got their hands out. Hey, I want $5,000 for this, or I want money for this, or I want money for that, or I'm willing to do this, or they just follow the shiny object, and who's ever waving the shiny object in front of them is the one that's going to get the business. And
it's hard. And some of the vendors, I mean, like I'm technically a vendor to some people, so
yeah, me too.
Some of us can be the worst. Like I feel like as a licensed title representative, if I got my real estate license tomorrow, even though I worked in title, I probably have like 10 title people like calling me to take me out to lunch just
Oh my
because
God.
they thought they had
Yes.
a chance of getting business from me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I really hope I'm not like that. Really.
No, listen, I just think, the problem that I have with the business right now is just the unevenness of the playing field, right? It's you have people that are doing things that are ethically wrong,
Right.
and non-compliant, yet they're doing it, and they're doing it in a significant way. And the only way for the good guys to compete is to start getting down in the mud with everybody. And it's unfortunate that I won't do it. I know you won't do it, and I'd rather just do good business and have what I would love. I would love for somebody just to do business with me because I like servicing the client. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help the client get a loan.
Right.
I'm here to help them, live their dream of buying a home, and that should be good enough. And I'm good at my job. That should be good enough.
But that's such a
It's not.
crappy feeling. Like, and I know people who have gotten down in the mud and done that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they do, they're like, wow, I instantly regret this. This is like, I
Oh my
can't
God,
go back
yeah,
from this. And that feeling is like, and I feel horrible. I don't like how I feel right now. But there's so much collateral damage that can come as a result of that people really don't understand. And most of the collateral damage is usually to the client. Client gets a bad taste in their mouth, or God forbid, it actually ends up harming the client financially,
Well,
which is the worst case scenario.
Let's talk through that for a
Yeah.
second, because I think it's important for people to understand how this actually affects
The consumer.
the end consumer, right? So let's open up, let's peel back the veil here for a minute and or the onion and start looking at this for a second. So if you're if you're an agent or realtor, right, you're going to start working with a specific loan officer, and
Right.
you want me to pay you a certain amount of money for marketing and do certain things. Well, what inevitably happens is, in order for me to make my wage, I need to now tack on that cost on top of what I need to make. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately, in order for me to add that extra money that you want to be paid or that you want to use for marketing, I have to now transfer that onto the consumer.
Right.
Which means that now the consumer has to get a worse interest rate, and they may not get the best deal that's out in the market. And what we're seeing right now is that because some of these people have those financial obligations, their rates are not that good.
Yeah.
But
that's happening, and
then
people
the
aren't
consumer goes
realizing-
and shops and goes somewhere else. So
everybody loses out on the
everybody
deal.
loses because you force the consumer to go shop because everybody's greedy.
Yes. We have a little bit of a different scenario where we can't change our premiums, for example, that can't change, and it doesn't matter if someone's laying
Right.
out money
Or-
here
yeah,
or there,
yeah.
but it just ends up with, I think that people have a skewed perspective of what people actually make in this business per transaction.
Yeah.
And, I've sat down with partners that we're going in on, ventures together, and, no one wants to waste my time, and I don't want to waste anybody else's time. If I can't do something for somebody financially, I mean, if it's something illegal, I would just flat out tell them.
Same.
If I wasn't getting that business to begin with, I would just continue to not get that business if they don't want to work with me because of that. But I'd rather, I think that the pool of people I work with now, I'd rather it be smaller and have a genuine partnership than, like I said, work with a bunch of different people here and there. I'm not really getting as much in return. It's
quality, not quantity.
They're working with 10 different people who they're getting some stuff from, and it's a false relationship to begin with.
You know what I find is even funnier too, is that at one point or another, that individual who's on the opposite end of it, at one point or another inevitably turns around and says, "Hey, listen, this isn't working. We need to make a change here."
Yeah.
Then the person literally just goes, beep, 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 beep. Hey, so I'm not working with any so-and-so anymore.
Yeah.
I instantly thought of you.
I've gotten that phone call.
Right? You're the person that I would love to work with.
I remember a few years ago getting a phone
Yeah.
call.
So hold on. So hold on. Okay. What's it gonna take?
Yeah.
How much and what?
How
is
much?
It?
How much more do I? How much were they paying you? How much more can I pay you?
Right.
I remember getting a phone call like years ago from a couple people who had just joined an office that I was working with, and they were like, I never had any business or work with these people, and they're like, hey, like we really want to go to the real estate convention this year. Can you get us some rooms?
And the rooms at Atlantic City are like so cheap too. They're like $99.
I'm sorry, I
night.
don't do that, and I not for nothing, but we don't work together either. And they're like, that's fine. I'll just call so and so from the other title company. I'm like, go right ahead. And it's interesting because 2 years after that, I get a deal from that person, and it's not because obviously I didn't pay for anything for them. I was just working with some of their colleagues, and they're like, the relationship they had with the other company went south, and that company denied paying for their rooms anyway.
Yes.
I think some mortgage person paid for them at the end of the day.
Right.
But they called me, and now to this day, I have actually a very good working relationship with them, and it's because I denied the initial contact based on money alone. It's not like, hey, we work together. Oh, you think like could you do this for me? Like we didn't even work together at all. Like I never even met this person in person. Mm-hmm. And that was the phone call I get. And it puts such a bad taste in my mouth. But now we have a great working relationship. So like that perspective has completely changed for me. It's just like, it was just shocking to me, and I'm like, even if I could legally do that, I definitely don't want to now.
I know,
because I don't even know you, and you just called me and asked for like $300 to pay for a hotel
the
room.
audacity of people to just literally call you up and ask for money, like it's funny. It is literally people have no qualms about just calling you up and going, hey, oh yeah, I want to do this. It's going to cost $1,500. Okay, I'll split it with you. Oh no, I wasn't going to split it with you because that would be like a normal request. I want you to pay for the whole thing. Oh, and then I'm gonna get, this is the whole page. I'm gonna get this tiny little piece down here in the corner is gonna have my name on it, and it's gonna be all you, and you're not even gonna see me. I'll be in the fine print.
Again, it's different for us because we don't, especially in the northern part of the state, we don't do consumer direct marketing. Like title companies don't advertise directly to buyers because we're in New Jersey, mostly like New Jersey run state where it gets filtered through the attorney a lot. But honestly, they're like, I don't really want my face plastered all over something anyway. So if I'm partnering with somebody, like I don't want to do it because I want my face plastered all over a poster. I just I want to support my partners, but I'm going to do it in a way that's, within the confines of what I can do, because I know people who have literally had an event or something like that, and an investigator from the state comes in posing as a realtor, and they're like, oh, this is like a really nice spread. Did you pay for it? And they're like, oh no, my title person paid for it. Boom, nabbed, like done. Now you're fine. Right. I'm like, it's literally that easy. I'm like, I don't need some guy just walking in here like asking questions like that, and I just get nabbed. And I'm like, there's people who do like, the people who do like 5 miles over the speed limit, and the people who do like 40 over, and somehow the person who goes 5 over gets nabbed. Like I don't even want to be that person.
I remember, this is going back quite a number of years ago, so it's nothing recent, but I remember quite a few years ago went to a probably one of the conferences. I don't know if it was in the city or if it was down Atlantic City, but anyway, so I meet this title guy. I mean, I kid you not, within 5 minutes of me meeting him, yeah, I'll give you 50% of the premium. Like
that's not even worth it for me to give that away.
Right. At first I didn't know what to say to him. I'm like,
you're looking around like, where's the cat? I'm being punked. I'm being punked right now. This is a trap.
Yes.
Totally a trap.
I exactly felt like
it's
that.
Like you find like $100 bill on the ground and you're looking around like there's a fish string attached to it.
Couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Fishing line attached.
Couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I walked out of the bar and I was just like, wow, that guy is really, he's really putting it out there like that. Like that's aggressive.
To someone you don't even know. Like you don't know if that, I mean, how do you
never met him before.
How do you think I know that other mortgage people or title people are like giving people to cash in a bag? It's because the people that are getting paid have a big mouth about it. Like, of course, other people are going to find out if you're just so blatant about it. I've referred business to people, and they're like, oh, like a mortgage person. They're like, I'll give you like half of my commission back. I'm like, I don't want your commission. Do you do a good job? Great. Like, just get the loan for the person. I'm not referring you because I want 50% of it back. I don't want anything. I've referred things to title people outside of the realm of which I do business. They're like, oh, I'll make sure I'll compensate you. And I'm like, I don't even want the money. I just want to make sure that I don't hand you a client and like,
don't fuck it up.
You just don't screw it up.
Right,
Like that's
right.
actually all I care about. Same thing for a realtor. Like if I refer a realtor, I don't want anything back. Like that's their job. That's actually your job. And you're in the business of getting clients. Like I want you to have the client.
Well, look, look at what happened this morning, right? You call and then all of a sudden you're like,
yeah.
And you get the phone call like, hey, you know what? Thank you for that. That was an awesome
Right.
referral. Like, thank you so much. You're going to help me. Like, that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
That's how it should go.
Right.
It shouldn't be this, hey,
Like,
so-and-so's
if I was
going
like,
to call you.
yeah,
She
Ryan.
wants $5,000
So,
for this.
Ryan, I'm referring you this client, but they're closing a loan with you. Like, where's my VIG?
Yeah. It's a $500,000 loan, and
Yeah.
I need $1,000 for
Yeah.
that.
I need a lot of things, but I don't want to make
Yeah,
my money
it's
that
just,
way.
That's the part of the business, the underbelly of the business right
I
now
know.
that I think is just turned a lot of people off to the business. At least, people that are, I would, hold in pretty high regard.
Yes.
All feel the same way about it. It's tough to talk about it publicly because, you don't want to talk about it publicly, or you don't want it to come off as like petty or bitching and complaining. But it's gotten so rampant and so out of whack. Like literally everybody's asking for money. Everybody's asking to do certain things, and they're asking to do it in a way that's just. I can see where some of it is
Right.
completely non-compliant or illegal in some cases, and not what you should do at all. And those we avoid completely, right? Like, don't just get out of here. Don't even waste my time. The ones that I feel are more inappropriate are the ones like we just talked about, right? Where you get a random phone call from somebody you don't know who starts asking you for you to start contributing to things, which
Right.
and it may be absolutely on the up and up 100%. But to your point, you're like, hey, there's an acronym called ROI, right? Like, if I'm gonna pay you, if I'm gonna contribute $1,000 to this $2,000 or $3,000 thing, I want to make back
Yeah.
money. I'm not looking to just make my $1,000 back. I want to make money on top of that.
Well, I
You
mean,
know, and-
otherwise you wouldn't have a business, and anyone in this business like has to look at it
yeah,
from an ROI perspective. Realtor, lender, attorney, title company, insurance representative, whoever.
yeah,
It's one thing if you're going to take some of your money and invest it back into marketing, but you're not going to take 250% of your money, invest it back into marketing if you know you're not going to get that return on it, because it doesn't financially make sense. And at the end of the day, I think that, the past few years, like there's just so many people coming into the business and they're just like doing things so backwards, and they're building business in the wrong ways. They're doing business the wrong way, and they're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like they're just in it to make a quick buck. And like we talked about, like the purge a little bit in the business is like, I've seen the lows. Like I know it's going to get less busy in the winter than it is in the spring and summer.
If rates stay where they are,
I know it's going to be slower. And you know what? But I'm not trying to build my business on getting an extra 5 deals like on the side as a side hustle. And it's different. Like, someone who gets licensed as a realtor and they're doing it part-time because they have a second job, like that's different. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
like,
even the other ones that are asking for
but I mean, like
money.
I hate when I get a phone call and they're like, oh, I have to give this to so-and-so because like they're paralegal, or, their sister got their title license. But meanwhile, that transaction's going so south, and then I'm getting the phone call about all the problems, and I want to be able to help, but like it is frustrating losing to that, or losing to the company that's so blatantly non-compliant. And then I still get a phone call asking for something. It's like, no, you don't support me. You support that other title company who has bad service and a bad reputation.
And it's only because they're paying.
And you're using them only because they're paying you. So it is very frustrating, but that's my
I don't know. It's just,
vent for today.
I hope if you're watching this and you're in the business that you recognize that, it's not just about somebody's willingness to pay for you to do something. While I can appreciate on some level that that's important and necessary,
Sure.
it's more important that the vendors that you work with believe in you and your service level and what you can give the client that you're ultimately representing.
Yeah.
Because by you asking for money, that means that I've got to come up with it from somewhere else. I can't just, we have lives, family, personal stuff, we can't just automatically start taking, cutting our commissions in half or a quarter or whatever and start taking that money away to start, paying for this whatever endeavor you want to go on if I'm not going to get a return on it. Well, it doesn't make sense to me for me to do that. If I'm gonna get 10 deals out of it or 20 deals out of it, and it's $1,000 turns into $20,000, yeah, totally, I'll do that all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
Well, there's a difference between partnering up and asking or taking a handout, because I've worked with people who I truly partner with, and they've gone through the times where they're slow and they're like stressed, but thinking they're not giving me enough referrals, and I'm like, listen, like we're partners, like. Things happen, like people get slow.
But they had the conversation with you because they acknowledge it, right, and they'll talk to you about it.
That they support me, and that people were slower this year or whenever someone went through a hard time. Listen, we all do in the business. We ride the highs and lows. Like that's different. Partnering up with someone and being a partner is different than asking for a handout without expecting to give any type of business in return or really considering that person a partner. You're just looking for some cash flow.
I'm just laughing because I just want to say, if I've never met you before, don't think that I'm just going to willy-nilly just pony up cash to partner with you on something. I would always tell you, don't even ask. Don't even ask. Go to the next guy, because I don't need the headache or the frustration or the stupidity that comes along with that. Because it'll never last, it'll never go anywhere, and I'm never going to make any money on it.
I'm like, I burn enough cash like doing things in my own personal life, right. And I'm like, God, like so my Fubo TV bill last time was like $90. I'm like, I watch Below Deck. It's the only show I pretty much watch on public TV. I'm wasting my money, so I can waste my money on my own. I don't need someone else to waste it for me.
I'll waste it if I at least have the prospect of earning something. But I'm being silly about it.
Right,
but
you're so silly.
I know,
yeah,
but it's true though. Like it's unfortunate we're at the stage in the game. I wish that there was better metrics in place or better ways to manage the business. Or there weren't restrictions that force us to do certain things, because you have people that are trying to do the right thing, that are doing it correctly, but then you have all these people on the other side who are just saying, they're not going to get me. Nobody's going to catch me. Nobody's going to do it.
It's like disgusting.
Right. It is, and then it's the cash and it's all this other stuff. So I mean, I know that this is and
they don't know anything about the business, and they just don't.
Oh, that's the worst.
They don't care about, we work in certain markets where a lot of the attorneys will chat with each other about what they want their fee to be, because they don't want someone else coming in and just like undercutting them and trying to steal the business. And like, listen, obviously people can charge whatever they want if they're not regulated within a certain amount, but like there is something to be said about trying to I might lose a deal to another title company. Like there's only a couple people in this business that work at different title companies that can actually stand. But I'm happy to like lose the deal to them, because like I know they're a good person and they're doing a good job, and
1,000% feel the same way about my
side. And like we get along, and like we referred business to one another. No expectation of getting anything in return. It's just that they belong in this business. Like this is their livelihood. Yes. And then there's a difference between those people and the people who are doing like the example I gave, like, oh, we'll just waive this, like not understanding the fact that you're just voiding your client's policy. This person probably doesn't know the definition of title insurance anyway. So, or they're not licensed.
It's okay. They'll be doing Uber or OnlyFans.
There's nothing wrong with Uber at all.
No, there's not.
Uber's an awesome side hustle, but
listen, I know people that are making $100,000 a year doing Uber. So
no, I believe you.
Yeah.
But there's just a difference between those, and maybe that's a personality thing. It just gives the business a bad name in general. But that being said, the people that we do work with, that we partner with, like, disclosure, like fully appreciate the partners that we really do work with and people that do trust us with the opportunity to work with them and their clients. Like it does mean a lot, because that is how we feed our families and continue to run our business. And I value those relationships. I don't value when someone else tries to come in and doing something disgusting.
I value you.
I value you.
I value you. Don't let, and you too, Andres.
Yeah,
I value you too, buddy.
Yeah. That was it.
Does that you feel better now? I know I feel a little bit better.
Then we had to kumbaya.
We feel better now. We all feel better now. Yeah. All right. We got that off our chest now.
Yeah, we're good.
Now we're back to okay. How much I got to pay?
Yeah. All right. I'm back to getting my checkbook out.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
You feel good now.
Yeah.
All right. We got it out. All right.
I feel like I got to give some money away now just because I felt so bad for complaining.
I know. I think that did feel like a little bit of a bitch fest, but whatever. Hey, every once in a while, you need that. You need that because I'm sure that it's not just our business. It's. I would venture to say that it's a lot of businesses.
I'll get calls from some of the realtors I work with on a weekly basis, and they're like, "Man, this week I'm just so done with this business. I'm so over it." And I'm like, "Talk to me," because I got a whole bank of things that I can go back and forth on. So I know everyone feels it a little bit. They just want to get back to people being able to do things on the up and up. And
you know what I want? I just want people to be genuine and real. Don't over lawyer the crap out of things. Don't over realtor the crap out of things. Don't over blend the crap out of things. Don't be so fake and so just.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot of that right now. Everybody's just so we lack the integrity and the genuine humanity in our business to say hey, okay, you know what? You're entitled to screw up. I'm entitled to screw up. Everybody's entitled to screw up. Okay, why does that have to be a death knell for me and mean that I'm completely ostracized from the business?
Yeah.
Because I didn't send an email in 5 minutes or I didn't send this email or do something.
And that's different than people screw up, but they're still trying to do things. They're still doing things for the right reasons.
Right.
And it happens in every business and in life in general. It doesn't mean that you have to completely cut someone off. It's just like. No, I don't know.
I know, but that I'm the same person that you'll cut off, or you're the same person that they'll cut off, because the next person's gonna pay. But that guy, you will literally give him enough rope, or person, you'll give them enough rope to hang themselves.
But
they'll
you know what?
15 times,
and that's happened. And then people come back and they're like, "Oh my god, it was just so bad there." And this person ghosted me. And I'm never going to be like, well, you stopped calling me and working with me, so I don't want to do business with you.
I do.
I know. But then you call me and I'm like, don't be like that, Ryan.
I know.
Yeah,
No.
Be like that.
I call you. I don't call.
I know.
I don't call
I'm like, whatever you want to say to that person, just say it to me now, and then I'll talk you off the ledge.
Right. Oh my God.
The kumbaya moment.
I know. It's so great. Yeah. I just, like I said, I unfortunately we don't have the oversight and the supervision in the business to get rid of all this stuff. So we do have to deal with it, in our own ways. But we're also sticking to our core values and who we are and what we do, and that has what I will tell you is that has given us the longevity in this business and has afforded us the ability to outlast every one of these flash in the pans and outlast every single one of
flash
these.
in the pan. There you go. That's a dad joke right there.
Yeah. I'll get my ears lowered too.
I'm
I'm
going to call Kenny today and tell him about all the dad jokes.
Do you remember Ryan?
Yeah.
I talked to Ryan today. Ryan told me.
You respect Ryan even more knowing that he used the term flash in the pan.
No, he got his ears lowered.
And he got his ears lowered.
He got his ears lowered today. He'll start dying.
Did you wear your white New Balances?
No, they're not New Balances. No, not New Balances.
Okay, well then you're not like a real dad with the dad jokes.
No, that's true. No, they're Kohans.
All right, we'll show up with those next time, and then we'll have the.
No, I have a nice crisp set of what is it? The on cue. What are the ones?
I don't know. Ryan, I have a pair of sneakers from Walmart, so this is like you're totally out of my wheelhouse right now. Everyone makes fun of me for that, but it's like the best sneakers I ever bought. They were like $10.
You know what I have? Hookahs are really good. We're not supposed to be sponsoring anything. Oh my God. Andre's looking at us like we should be saying anything about any of these brands.
I'm going to plug Walmart sneakers because honestly, I bought those in a pinch and they were the best. They still have them. I've had them for 5 years. Not even ashamed of it.
Does this mean I can start bringing my Dunkin' Donuts coffee too?
No.
No, that's not happening. Okay.
All right.
All right. We're done. We're done with our bitch fest today. Time to move on to more entertaining and successful conversations. Till the next time.